Welcome to Cantina Vizsla. For the safety of the bartenders and any other patrons, remember to keep all arms, legs, tentacles, or any other extremities you may have to yourself at all times. So come right in, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Coming to you from the Panic Room in the crap part of the cantina, I'm Sparrow. And with me, as always, is a man who some say has only been captured on film once, appearing as a stormtrooper running into a blast door. All I know is I call him Stan.
Oh, I've been captured on film, all right, but I really hope none of y'all have seen that.
It's a confirmed sighting right there.
Maybe.
It was the only one that was confirmed, so I had to go with it.
There you go. Okay.
Unless it's confirmed,
we'll just go with that.
That's right. Man, it's been a while, but between craziness and real life and also the game has been quiet, to say the least.
Yeah. I heard we were dead, but we're not.
I don't know. I heard CG might be. It's been a very quiet on their front for quite a while now.
It has. So the natives are restless, and I think we may talk a little bit about that later.
Yeah, definitely we will. But before we get there, what have you been doing with this quiet time that we've had?
Oh, well, it has not been quiet in the Stan household, and I know what everybody wants to hear. They want cat stories, so I will begin with a cat story. Well, you know, my cat Winston, he is a common contributor to the show. You hear him meowing from time to time. He got his whittle paw bit, and it got infected and just swole up like they had like a boxing glove on.
Oh.
So I don't feel sorry for him just yet. I'm gonna get to it. So anyway, we had to go take him to the vet, get it lanced, and it just exploded, pus and blood everywhere. It was traumatic and horrible for everybody involved. But he's feeling better now. I think he still may be mad about it. I told this story in Discord, but the other day I was playing Destiny, trying to get ready for the new expansion, and I'm on this map playing some multiplayer, and I hear like some sizzling. I was like, okay, I don't remember the sound effect on this map, and it was like coming out my subwoofer, and it was really just realistic. I'm like, damn, did they update the sound design? This sounds pretty good. Then I smell something burning. I'm like, this is odd. So my subwoofer's just kind of bubbling and popping. I'm like, what the hell? And all the cats are over there. It's like, oh shit, what's going on? So I walk over there, and Winston, to get his revenge, has pissed directly into an electrical outlet that I have my subwoofer plugged into. So I'm trying to wrestle cats, get them out of the way. There is vaporizing electrified piss smoke billowing from the electrical socket. And at that point, I realized I have died and I am in hell. So that's my story.
Winston has upgraded from taking out your phone to trying to take out your whole house, apparently.
Yeah. The one of my security cameras was plugged into that too, so he's trying to destroy the evidence as well.
Yeah, making sure you can't monitor him anymore. It's like, I'll make sure this. Just wait till you leave next time.
Yeah, it's bad. If I don't come back on the show, the cats probably did it. They just did me in.
The cats? I don't think it's cats. I think it's one.
Yeah, just the one.
Winston's looking at you and going, "You see, you brought in all these extra cats. I'm gonna get my revenge."
Think you can replace me? I'll show you replaced.
That's right.
Other than that, like, hell has not been too incredibly bad. We're back in game season. There's lots of stuff coming out. I mentioned Destiny 2's got their expansion coming. I am super pumped for that. Borderlands 3 came out. Were you ever a Borderlands guy?
The original Borderlands, yeah. I don't think I've played Borderlands 2, but I actually might download Borderlands 3.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you like Borderlands 1, you will probably like Borderlands 3. It is really a lot of the same. which if that's what you want, that's great, but it's just not grabbing me right now. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad game per se. I think it's just, it's not Destiny 2, and that is my crack right now.
Yeah. The other game that I saw came out is Gears of War 3.
No, it's actually Gears 5.
5, sorry. I don't know why
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
3 stuck in my head. 3 is written on Borderlands, that's why. Gears 5. The new Gears of
Yeah.
War. Let's put it that way.
There you go. They actually dropped a war part. It's just they're just calling it Gears now.
All right.
I picked that up on the Game Pass, and I've played through I guess the first act, and it's fun. It's more Gears of War. I think they do shake it up a little bit later in the game. I just haven't got to that part yet.
I might have to. I'm going to download one of these and then go through. Maybe we can go through it, because what I really liked about Gears was the co-op. And the
Co-op. Yeah, co-op was great.
two-player campaign mission, especially for Gears, is really fun in my opinion.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I got to plug it again, but that Game Pass, that is a bargain.
Yeah.
You pay for it, you get pretty much all of Microsoft's first-party games. You get like this instant catalog, and it's fairly reasonable.
Yeah. We'll go through.
Yeah,
I have to look into
yeah.
more of that. Get actually
Check that
time
out.
to do that with craziness going on with having time to do that.
Yeah, it's bad. Everything's just happening now. TV is back. Good Place is back. Supernatural's coming back. Just Always Sunny is back.
What is it? Supernatural season 28?
Like a season 1,000,000.
Yeah.
It's the last one though. It's run its course.
Yeah.
It's time to ride off into the sunset. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Well, that it.
One more thing. We have a yearly music fest in this little dink town I live in, and they have like a rock night and a country night, and suffice it to say, up and coming alt rock bands don't fare too well in a little hick town in South Arkansas. So we ended up getting some free tickets.
Never would have guessed that.
Yeah, it's shocking. I know. Got some free tickets to that, and ended up getting like moved all the way up to the stage because there was just nobody there. We maybe 200-300 people at the most, and it was a decent lineup. There was Twin XL, which they were pretty good. Then we had the New Respects band out of Memphis. We really enjoyed them. Then Lovely the Band, they got that song Broken. I think everybody's probably heard it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
And then the headliner was Walk the Moon.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I gotta say, they put on a hell of a show. I mean, Mr. the Moon was just energetic all over the place and had such a great time. I was honestly surprised.
I'm surprised it wasn't as packed. Having a headliner like that, I'm surprised there wasn't more people, at least especially for that final act.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a small town. We got 19,000 people here, and we're about 2 hours away from any other like major metropolitan area that's just not going to drive here for that. You know, it's just a reality.
Are you saying
of the
it's not
situation.
exciting enough to spend a day there?
No. One of the bands was talking. He's like, yeah, we've been here for 2 days, and it's a nice little town you got. We enjoyed your Applebee's.
And we're ready to leave.
That's about the best thing they could say about us. We had an Applebee's. There you go. Anyway, I don't want to drone on about myself. What have you been up to? You got some stuff written down here. Looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I went through and I did go through and purchase the new iPhone 11. So I got it the day it came out, and it has been very difficult on me, not setting it up or anything. But as we just talked about last week or the week before with the title update of the game in muscle memory is real. And you're going through trying to hit buttons that aren't there. The screen's bigger now from the iPhone 7 that I did have from the day the iPhone 7 came out. And it's like, yeah, let me hit that app. Oh, wait, it's not there because the screen's bigger. So it's been a good adjustment. Let's put it that way. I am definitely enjoying the new phone, but it is taking a while to actually be able to type correctly and figure out what I'm actually hitting. Other than that...
How big's the screen on that one?
I don't even know. I went through. It's I think it's like 11 inches from 9 something with the iPhone 7
11 inches, like a foot.
from diagonal. Believe
That's a
so.
big ass phone. It's like an
Yeah.
iPad.
Yeah, it's getting there. I'll have to look that up to double check, but I know it's quite a bit bigger than what I have. It might be 7 to
Gotcha,
9 or
gotcha.
something like that. I'm pretty sure it was like 2 inches bigger than the screen of my old phone.
It's crazy too. Like when you first get a bigger phone, you're like, oh, this thing is huge, and then after a while, you still want a bigger screen,
Yeah. Oh, you could always use a bigger screen, right?
right?
And then you go back to the other one like feels so small, and you're like, oh wow, this is really, this isn't great. Um, been doing that. Work's been getting crazier and crazier. Every time I turn around, they're throwing different stuff at me, finding, fighting with different battles every day. So it's been a lot of late nights recently working on that, trying to get everything straightened out. But hopefully, starting to even out, make everything a little bit easier for me to go along with, like you said, TV's back. So Netflix released Mindhunter season 2. Watched all that. Penn State football's back, so that's going to games, watching away games. Just yeah, super busy. And then I don't know if you've been following this as close as I have, but SpaceX building their Starship prototype. The first
Yeah, I saw that thing.
Oh man. This just boggles my mind because they're building this and they had their yearly update on Starship last night, and they're going through talking about doing 5 different versions of this vehicle, going through Mark 4 or 5 being orbital already, and having that done within the next 6 months. And they're building it out in a field. They literally just have cranes and a water tower company welding it on, putting on pieces, putting it together.
Yeah, this is that big giant chrome looking thing, right?
Yes. It went through,
Yeah,
it changed the wings. It's going to go through and propulsively land also. And NASA, with their contract work for their SLS rocket that's supposed to take us back to the moon, their big thing recently is, hey, we finally put on the final piece of assembly, and it's taken them about 6 months. And SpaceX is going through designing, building, going through prototypes, and just assembling everything in 6 months, and we'll be flying it and testing it out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and change it. It's just mind-boggling to me on the pace of development that they're actually going through and doing compared to it's to me it almost mimics NASA in the heyday of the space race as far as how quick they're developing stuff, where NASA right now is more government politics. Everything has to be spaced out and proper in order to get the funding. It has to go to so many states for assembly and everything to make everybody happy, and then the more contractors you add, the more chances for delays and everything, because if one part gets delayed because of development issues, everything trickles down. So it is very, very cool, and I can't wait to see this huge thing fly.
Yeah, it doesn't look like something that would take off.
Yeah, and it only has 3 engines on it. And they said, I think within the next 2 months, they're planning on a 20-kilometer hop. So it's going to go up to 20K, come back down, and propulsively land on a platform that's going to be within a mile of the launch pad.
That's amazing. It's so crazy how, like, on one hand, we're in the 23rd century, and on the other hand, we're, like, in the 1950s.
Yes.
Like, come on, country, get it together.
Well, that's exactly what Elon Musk was actually talking about. And the concept of this was basically because of the TV shows and cartoons that he watched growing up, that he's just obsessed with it. And he's like, I kind of just want everything to make it look like that. And the materials actually supported it looking like that. So he said, why not?
Well, if we don't have an X-wing come out of this, I want my money back.
Yeah, we'll go through X-wings, Millennium Falcons. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Let's get into the game because we had a couple weeks worth of gear grinding, character grinding. So how have you looked this week?
Well, I got Negotiator unlocked and
Alright.
took it out for a test spin.
Woo!
We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Got our guild finally got Watt Tambor unlocked.
Wait, finally is right because we went. Well, not really finally because there's a lot of guilds that are just unlocking them this time, but we went through and hit what we needed Watt shards on the dot.
On the dot. It was pretty crazy.
We needed 23 shards. We got 23 shards, so it was a bare minimum unlock.
Yeah, and then this time we got 30, so we are making some improvements.
Yeah, I think 30 for that, and there's always going to be that RNG factor that we talked about, especially for this GOTB. You go through and you get the wrong setup or the wrong turn meter order with the team you're going to go up against, and all of a sudden they're just going to wipe out a Geonosian, and then you're done. So there is some RNG factor. So I think 30 is probably very good, at least for right now.
I think so. Yeah. Particularly, we're getting 2 shots now, but when Lightside comes out, it's really going to slow down. So hopefully, we can get him mostly done before then.
Yeah, if we get another 2 more goes at it, say we get 35, that gets them up another level. Yeah, we'll be within a few GOTBs then at that 30 pace to get him 7-star.
Yeah, I took him for a test run. He's useful against Night Sisters, or so I hear. Mine was definitely not. Maybe I just didn't have him geared right or whatever.
Mods, man. Come on.
Yeah, Zeta should be enough. Unlock him what you want.
What? You put a Zeta on him also?
I did, yes.
Oh man, we got to use the power up here.
Yeah. Let's see. I got Shock T at 7 stars. Finally finished that grind. Took her up to gear 12.
Oh man.
Holding off on gear 13 for her just for a little bit longer. I still only have the 1 Zeta. I kind of want to see how some rumblings and rumors pan out before I really commit to her.
So were you looking at doing a different gear 13 with within that Shock T team?
Maybe Cody. I don't have him gear 13 yet.
I from what I saw, I would actually say Echo. With Echo's damage at gear 13 with relics, that would actually be the best character, I think, to take up to gear 13 because of the relic addition to it.
I still think there's probably another clone or 2 out there in the wings waiting to be unlocked or unveiled. So
Okay.
I'm gonna hold out just a little bit longer. I did go and put Anakin and Snips to gear 13.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Premature. They were past gear 12.
And Fives. I am using him on my negotiator team, so he got gear 13 and a Zeta as well.
All right, man. Lots of gear 13. Very nice.
Yeah. It was okay. I cannot match your spree you went on, so go ahead and fill us in.
Yeah, I did say I was going through hoarding a few Zetas, and it finally got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I got these teams pretty much geared up. These are where I'm actually heading. I'm not going to deviate from that. So the Zeta spree happened this morning, and I was surprised it did not get commented on in the guild, but it definitely happened. So I went through and Zeta General Kenobi, Snips, Jedi Anakin, Rex, Echo, and I put both Zetas on 5s. And if you're trying to count, yes, that is 7. And and I'm halfway to another one. So, yeah, it happened. I was going through, decided I had enough of them saved up. I had enough of the teams geared up where it was going to help me within Grand Arena as a cleanup team, going through using just a Rex, 5s, Echo. trio to kind of clean up teams. My Padme team is pretty much done except for gearing up Snips, who's being a pain with gold eyeballs. But other than that, that team's ready. So I just needed to slap the Zetas on and get them up. And speaking of the Padme team, I did get Padme up to gear 12. And like we said about getting the watch shards and everything, was able to go through and get Sunfac up to gear 12, which allowed me to finish up and complete that Watt mission for the first time.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
So yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting to the point where I wanted to be for Grand Arena, and having these teams built and actually be able to get that counter for Darth Revan, hopefully with the Padme team now, and have some flexibility by adding in that clone team.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is a safe bet.
Yeah, I mean, at the very worst, if it's not meta defining, we know they have to be useful within light side GOTB. So I don't think I'm going to be wasting any Zetas right there. Yeah, I might have went overkill on doing both on 5s or something like that, but that's all right. I will go from there. I had enough Zetas saved up. Didn't really have anything else planned for them other than maybe putting them on Watt or Shakti, but both of those characters are not geared up or starred up enough to justify putting Zetas on them right now. So I'll have Zetas built up in time to put them on when they're ready.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I was mentioning getting ready for Grand Arena, how did you make out in the last Grand Arena round?
The last one actually went 3-0, my first time, and gotta say it did not feel a whole lot different than going 1-2.
Oh man! Oh, you got a little bit better.
Fun.
You got some more Zetas that way.
Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, it's the Grand Arena as it stands right now is a fun mode. It taps into my competitive side, but it's not so compelling where I'm just going to go all out and wail out to win it. So maybe they need to do some adjusting there, but I don't know. It's still fun. I ended up in a Rhodium League, Division 1. Didn't quite make Kyber, but that's okay.
Yeah, I went through and did basically the same thing. I went through, finished in a Rhodium, finished 2-1 again. So pretty much every round 2-1 except for the first round I went 1-2. And yeah, I only went 2-1 because I was a dummy and lost track of time because of work and everything and did not set a defense the first round. And yeah, I definitely would have beat the guy fairly easily that first round, and he's the one that actually went 3-0. So I'm like, of course, I could have beat him and would have been done, would have got 3-0, but that didn't happen because I was a dummy and didn't set a defense. So I had nothing to use on offense.
Yeah, we'll make a few bonehead moves here and there, but it's all part of the learning experience. But we'll get a chance to make it up. They're rerunning the championship starting on the 2nd. We'll have a chance to kind of re-earn some of those titles if we didn't get them the first time.
I don't like this. The reasoning behind it does not sit well with me. Because they went through, we know in the game, it's built out to be able to rotate, to allow ships, to allow different formats of this. I do not like having this 5v5 with the 4 zones constantly. I want to see it mixed up, and their reasoning behind it, we don't have the challenges or whatever they're called.
Just new feats, titles,
the
new
feats.
Mechanics.
They said they didn't have the feats lined up to go through and change it yet. What the hell are you working on? The new feats aren't ready? The code's already there. All you have to do is go through and decide what the feats are going to be. It's not that difficult. You can knock it out. Jeez, I could probably write out feats in a day. And code it. It's probably so you're looking at maybe a week's worth of work for actually one person. Yeah, something doesn't seem right there.
I think it may be a little bit of that and a little bit of having something exciting to push a little bit down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that's the case, but still, I mean, you could have take one person off to go through and code some feats in there.
Yeah, I think there's something more to it than that.
I mean, I like I said, I really hope so, but I just really like the idea of having the feats go through and actually having the ships at the top, having a 3v3 format, having the 5v5, having different layouts within the zones, going through and having, what, 3-4 rounds of the exact same thing, 5v5 matchups, just isn't. I mean, it's fun, but could it could be so much more.
Yeah,
Having that mixed up, it's not doesn't get stale by the end. By the end, I'm like, all right, well, let me go here and do my battles. I went through and faced the same defense every single time. All it is what mods do they have on the characters? It's not appealing because it doesn't mix up.
Well, I mean, there's. I got a counterpoint to that, but I will address it a little bit later.
Yeah, but that might be just my GP bracket. Also, it's like, oh, I'm gonna fight a Night Sister team on defense. Oh, there's a Kira team. Oh, there's a Darth Revan team. Oh, you have General Grievous. All right. Oh, they didn't say they're Jedi Knight Revan for offense. They put them on defense. All right, let me go through and attack that. Oh, there's a bounty hunter team. Oh, I'm shocked. I mean, some people do mix it up every once in a while, but it is very, very predictable what you're going to see on defense, what you're going to attack, what your counters are. That it's by the end, I was like, one round of it's okay. By the end, it gets a little stale, in my opinion. Let's get into some Star Wars news then.
Yeah, there's been a lot of it. We are hitting that ramp into the marketing juggernaut heading toward Rise of Skywalker. Kind of kicking all that off, we have Triple Force Friday. It will be October 4th, where they will be releasing not all of them, but a lot of the new toys and products for the new content. Jedi Fallen Order, Mandalorian, and Rise of Skywalker. They did a reveal stream a couple days ago that was actually pretty interesting. It's about 45 minutes long. It was an event hosted by Warwick Davis, and they had interviews with a lot of the stars of Rise of Skywalker. They'd come in and show them their toys and their Funko Pops and kind of get their reactions. It was a fun little watch. Nothing groundbreaking, but it was neat.
Yeah, that's actually pretty exciting because a lot of these toy reveals and everything like that definitely teases what characters we might actually see within the game.
It does, yeah. If they care enough about a character to dedicate manufacturing time to, it's not a stretch to kind of persuade people to program them into their games.
Oh yeah, so well that's kind of the characters they're also pushing. So that usually the hints and what the character is actually going to be like, they're going to get more information than having to wait for the movie to come out to see how the character interacts with the world, within the world.
Yeah, and that's you saying that kind of reminds me of another thing that's going on. Battlefront 2 had another major update. Added a co-op mode. There's clone commandos in it now, droid commandos.
Oh.
Again, I don't think that'd be a stretch to see them in Galaxy of Heroes. There's a little bit of cross promotion there.
Yes. Yeah, the possibility here coming up with Lightside GOTB and also the new Clone Wars. So, yeah, definitely could see that heading in here. Hopefully soon. Maybe this month.
Another character I think we may see is Cal something. I forget his last name. The main dude from Jedi Fallen Order. And that is his title. It's not Padawan. It's main dude.
Of course.
They released a new story trailer for that game, and it looks good.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of commercials and promos for Fallen Order already.
Yeah, I think EA is pinning a lot of their Star Wars licensing clout on this. or the reputation.
Yeah, we'll see how it
trying
see
to
how it pays
salvage
off.
it, I
That's
think.
for sure. Yeah.
I've got it pre-ordered, the deluxe super edition with the sweet little doll in it. I cannot wait.
They have an upgraded package. I'll take it.
I will. Let's see. Vader Immortal Episode 2 came out. I have not had a chance to play this one yet, but I may do that this afternoon. It's about a 30, 45-minute long experience. So, what else I got to do?
Is that the VR one?
Yes.
Okay.
So, stay tuned for my impressions of that. Kind of got some big news coming out of Marvel, Star Wars, Disney conglomerate there. Kevin Feige. He is, again, the main dude for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's going to be making a Star Wars movie.
Huh.
What do you think of that?
That's interesting. Because isn't the guys from Game of Thrones doing a new trilogy, I should say?
This is in addition to their trilogy, the Rian Johnson trilogy. This is just going to be something else.
Wow. All right. So, I mean, they're bringing a lot bigger directors and everything to go through and producers to do some of these Star Wars movies. So hopefully this is like a Kenobi one or maybe the Boba Fett.
You know what? This could be the start of a whole new saga.
So do you think they would go through and run two sagas in concurrent of each other, basically alternate years? You have one pre everything, and then one set out in the even further out in the future of the Star Wars universe.
You know what? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if they do it like that, or if they would have it all kind of intertwined and do like a Marvel Cinematic Universe thing with Star Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that would be very cool. Where they're going through. It's not really a trilogy, but each individual movie, and then they're kind of a culmination where everybody comes together.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool. I'd love to see it. I hope it works out for them. I mean, they just got Spider-Man back. You know, them and Sony kissed and made up, so he is back in the MCU.
Yeah, it's really just them going through. I think like we talked about, the downfall of Solo and some of the other movies is just timing on when they brought them out, and also the promo just was not there. You go through and it's like, oh, a month before the movie comes out, then you start promoting it. And that's the only time you really saw anything about it. So, gotta build up hype.
Yeah. I'm hyped. I've got enough to go around. I will share my hype with anybody to listen. Little bit closer timetable. We got at least one director for the Kenobi series associated with it. We don't know if it'll be in episode or two or the full series, but Deborah Chow will be associated with the series, and she has worked on The Mandalorian and a couple of really good series: Better Call Saul, American Gods, Mr. Robot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Those are big movies as far as winning awards and everything. Also,
yeah, for sure. I guess the last little thing, speaking of winning awards, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, voice of Sassy Robot L3, got an Emmy win for Fleabag.
Yeah, Fleabag won a lot of awards.
Now, I gotta be honest, I've never even heard of this show.
I have only heard about it because listening to the Tested podcast with Still Untitled with Adam Savage.
Yeah.
They go through and they talk about Adam Savage is obsessed with Fleabag and how well it's written and directed and filmed. That's the only reason I knew about Fleabag. Of him going off about it, and they were talking about before the Emmys. They're like, "Yep, it's basically if they're nominated, it's going to be Game of Thrones or Fleabag. That's going to basically walk away with almost every single award this Emmys." Which pretty much what happened.
Well, according to Wikipedia, Fleabag is a British comedy drama, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, it's also written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, so that is cool. She plays an angry, confused, sexually voracious young woman who's scandalous living in London. There you go.
Yeah. It's different. It's one of those, definitely a British comedy. If you like British comedies, you will like it. If you don't, the humor might not be there for you.
Okay. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, let's get back into the game though. People.
The game's dead. Well,
Yeah,
nobody wants to
I
talk about
know.
that.
Game's dead. We do have the count. The calendar did get released for October. Anything stand out?
Well, we've got one famous Wookiee event coming back, Flight of the Falcon coming back on the 3rd. So if you need that, Starforge Showdown is coming back on the 18th. So that is very good. Legend of the Old Republic come back on the 20th. Pieces and Plans, Luke Skywalker's Journey, BB-8, Rey's Journey, Luke Skywalker. It almost looks like it's the end of a quarter.
Everybody's coming back. All right.
Everybody's coming back. Now, there is a very interesting gap in the calendar, October 10th through the 16th. Doesn't seem to be an extra legendary or event going on then.
That sounds very much like Lightside GOTV time for implementation, or maybe a rumored legendary, mythic, of whatever they want to call it, event.
Yeah, they've released the schedule for the territory battles, and it doesn't overlap with those. So I don't think that's going to be. I do think it's going to be a new character event.
Well, they also said basically whenever there's a territory battle that's on the schedule, that could be changed to light side or dark side,
Right.
GOTV, when they do release it. And then the gap could also be there if they implemented, just in case there's a problem with it, in case that way it doesn't go through and affect any other events that are running at the time.
That's a good point. So that would be a third TB in the month if we got it then. No, I can't count. Yeah, that'd be 3.
Something like that. So, yeah, they always go through and say they can put them in at any time, and doing that so it doesn't negatively impact anything else going on in the game at the time, because you know how finicky updates are sometimes, especially putting new content into the game.
Yeah, so either way, there's some stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
Not bad for a dead game.
Yeah, something like that, Let's actually get into a little bit more into the game and everything here. You did say, what do you have here? Star Wars mobile game correction.
Yeah, last episode I talked about the new Star Wars mobile game coming out, and I said it was CG's new game. I don't think that is the case. It's an EA published game. I don't think that CG is the one developing this.
Probably not if it's Star Wars, because they did say their new game was not Star Wars related.
That is correct. So apologies for that. Kind of got some of my wires crossed. So I will go dry myself in the toilet.
Jeez, Stan.
I know.
Get your act together.
Sorry. Yeah, I know y'all expect more from this hard-hitting journalistic show that we do.
Yeah. Now, the thing I want to go through and know about is, how is the negotiator and what in the wild? Because you're going to have to talk about this, because I am hoarding GOTB currency like you hoard cats.
Oh, man, you should have just all the currency.
That's right. I do have all the currency.
I hope your currency does not destroy your house.
Well, it could. It could, depending on how good this negotiator is. You'll have to let me know, though.
My first impression was pretty down on it, actually. I couldn't get a win consistently. Defense didn't seem to hold.
But did you get good?
I had to get good. And
yes.
I will credit Warrior for helping me get good. He did release a very good video on the negotiator and kind of how to use it. And ever since I've adopted his technique, it's been pretty straightforward. There's a couple times where RNG will get me and I'll lose. And that, you know what? That's fine. You don't want a team that is, invincible. That is just bad for the game. So, hey, is what it is. So my team now is I run Negotiator with Fives, Jedi Knight Anakin, and Houndstooth to start off with. Focus on the enemy, and this is going up against the typical Millennium Falcon team. Use 5s, focus down on Houndstooth, hit a AoE with Anakin, then use the Negotiator's Daze move. Hopefully get a few dazes, then I will call in Snips, use her special. That's usually enough to get either Houndstooth all the way dead or mostly dead. Finish him off, then take out whatever their second one is. Then my second reinforcement will be... who the hell? One of the clones, Starfighter, with the protection up. One of the taunts every time they have protection.
Clone Sergeant.
Okay, right. Clone Sergeant. I bring him in. That keeps more focus off of Anakin, because the key is keeping Anakin alive. That is your main damage dealer. Every once in a while, he'll get focused down and taken out. Then it's usually a loss. But if I keep him alive, it's shooting fish in a barrel. He just goes, keeps killing. Use the ultimate, which kind of hits like a wet fart, but
that might also be the Negotiator being 5-star.
Yeah,
not fully upgraded, and that's pretty much all your reinforcement slots too. Because you can only put 3 reinforcements in there for 5 stars.
Yeah, I use the other clone as my last reinforcement.
Yeah, that would be Rex.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't tell them apart. They're all the same.
One ship's blue, one ship's red.
Right.
Colors.
So it's going to be interesting when more people get Negotiator and that meta kind of takes over. It's going to be interesting to see how the mirror matches work out, and that's where I kind of think Malevolence will come into play.
Yeah, this is why I'm kind of excited and disappointed about the Grand Arena having ships in, because right there, what you're describing is basically you can go through and put a Millennium Falcon team on, or your Negotiator team on defense. Say, if you put your Negotiator team on defense with Houndstooth and everything, that could be a very difficult team for a full-on meta Anakin ship to try to get or fleet to try to get through. And you'll still have your Millennium Falcon team. Even if they do put their Millennium Falcon, you can still blast through them without Houndstooth.
Right.
So that actually goes through and actually pits a pretty decent matchup. And you would still have Geos in the background in case you go through and you need 2 attacks to get through the Millennium Falcon. It's like, hey, I took out the Millennium Falcon and one other ship, and I got just not enough time, or they were able to kill the last couple of ships. You can go in, secondary, clean up with your Geos, clean up the team, and get through fleet. And you have a very strong team on defense to go along with it. Sounds like a good strategy there, which would definitely hurt me as far as hoarding for a possible Malevolence or another ship to come out. It might require me to actually go in after the Negotiator to try to gear it up or star it up and unlock it real quick. But they didn't do that, so I have time to kill. And wait and see what happens. If it doesn't
pan out, you can just buy Negotiator at 7 stars and go and be caught up.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not really worried about that. That's the one part in which I was nervous about for Grand Arena or Territory Wars, in which you needed to either set the Negotiator on defense or use it on offense to try to make up a difference and create that new strategy. And then you talked a little bit about Watt as far as not being useful, but still lacking something.
Yeah, I tried to use them on the Bounty Hunter team to help out with the Night Sisters, and yeah. I may have probably just got overmodded. It just didn't work out too well for me, and I haven't quite used them since. I may throw him in a filler team here and there, but until I get him started up all the way, he's just going to kind of sit on the sidelines.
Yeah, actually watching, he seems useful in situations watching Arnold's video on a General Grievous team, that IG-88 General Grievous team to take out Darth Revan. But once again, that's going through a relic level to try to help get him up to do some damage.
Yeah, my biggest problem on a Grievous team is I don't want to replace anybody because I've invested so much gear and Zetas in that team. I just want to use them all.
Yeah, in that aspect, you kind of have to go through and figure out how to build up a second team. So when you do replace one or two of them with a character like Newt Gunray or Watt, that you have a secondary team to put them on. I'm not really sure how to put that together yet, but I've been looking at the same thing because where I'm seeing Watt plug in is exactly like what you said. It plugs in there, and I'm like, I really don't want to take out that team. Same way when they request putting Newt, or you want to put Newt Gunray in that team, and I'm like, again, I really don't want to go through and destroy this team. So it's getting there. There seems to be enough characters, or very close to being enough characters to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's the challenge with Darkside GOTBs. You have that one mission in the middle in Phase 4 that requires Dooku. And if you use your Geo team pure and your Grievous team pure, there's nobody left. Like, you got Grievous and Watt and Dooku hanging out, no other separatists to use.
So, for that, I have had good luck the last 2 GOTBs doing that Dooku mission. I do the Dooku mission with General Grievous, IG-100, B2, and B1 with Dooku lead. Granted, both times Dooku gets basically one-shotted right off the bat, taken out. But then I go through and call in the rocket droid with General Grievous, and that rocket, man, calling in that rocket droid from General Grievous just makes him super tanky and super tough to deal with. And then I just slowly pick off the character, or all the clones one at a time, usually starting off with Echo because that's the big damage dealer. And I have gotten 1 out of 2. I have not figured out how to beat it's Yoda, Padawan Anakin, and General Kenobi in that second phase. But man, going one for 2 in that mission helps out tremendously, and it's a million GP deployment for completing 1 of 2. So it's definitely worth going through and breaking up that team.
Okay, I'll have to put that on my to-do list next time.
Yeah, I go in there with General Grievous, get 1,000,000 points, because everything else as far as Phase 4 goes, in order to get 1,000,000, I think you have to clear Phase 3. And that is just a crapshoot in Phase 4. So I will take the consistent 1 of 2, get 1,000,000, and get on out of there, and I will try to go through and make do with everything else. Now, we talked a little bit about these being quiet, rumor starting, and it all happened at once. There were some rumors for General Anakin or Kiadi-Mundi. What do you think of these, and what were they?
Well, there's 2 kind of competing rumors that, like you mentioned, kind of came out at the same time, dueling banjo style. So first rumor popped off. My uncle works for CG, knows a guy that works at Nintendo, and blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. It's all on Discord. General Anakin coming to the game.
Mid-October.
Mid-October. It's gonna be a legendary event, not designed to shift the meta, but you're gonna have to have Galactic Republic Jedi and clones, and they're gonna save the meta shift to Episode 9, which to me doesn't sound unrealistic. I do think.
I think it sounds unrealistic because that's still another few months away.
Yeah, well, the reason I don't find it unrealistic is because relics are still a thing. They're still probably making some money off of relics and kind of having that arms race with the invested meta. People are gearing up their Revans, people are gearing up their Maliks and doing that. And the longer they can kind of stretch that out, the better off it will be. And it would seem kind of bad if they had a meta shift and then, this old boring character, quote unquote, outpowers anything they bring out, hyping up episode 9. If Jedi Rey or Sith Rey or whatever the hell she ends up being is not the main character in this game for a little while, they're doing it wrong.
So when I say I don't know about the meta shift because it's so a few months away, I say that in the thoughts that they would go through, kind of make this either a competing meta or a character that can compete with this meta, and then add on with either First Order Resistance when Episode 9 comes out. So you go through and it basically creates 2 meta shifts within a 4 or 5 months period. That was more my thinking, because I mean you kind of want your meta shifts to be every technically probably 3 to 4 months you want a meta shift.
Do you?
Yeah, because that's usually when. So I would say a healthy meta shift for a play-to-play character or pay-to-play players, you go through, you want to meta shift every 3 to 4 months because you buy a new character or you buy the new gear. That gives you an advantage for 3 to 4 months. When it becomes free-to-play or the free-to-play players are able to catch up at that point, the meta should start shifting. So the free-to-play are kind of almost always a meta behind or a half meta behind.
Yeah, and I think that's the way we had been accustomed to playing this game.
That was the case all the way up until, I would almost say, Darth Treya.
Yeah.
Or very close to that. I mean, you went through and had a couple instances in which it took a little bit longer to get rid of, like the Triple Cleanse team was, but even then, that Triple Cleanse team was modified. The whole team didn't change, but 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 characters on that meta team kept shifting every 2 to 3 months based on what came out. Like Thrawn all of a sudden got plugged in and replaced Chase. So it does rotate. Jedi Training Rey was in there, CLS came in there, but yeah, Treya and Jedi Knight Revan kind of killed that and put in these long format of 5 to 6 month metas, which is very taxing and makes or at least Rena fairly stale, especially at the top.
Well, I mentioned earlier I had a counterpoint to kind of the release meta or release schedule and all that, and this is kind of where it comes in. It actually feels kind of nice to be able to see a team, say, okay, this team is going to function in this certain area, either meta team or whatever, and have time to actually farm that team up, gear them, and use them for a little while before they're replaced with something else. And I think that's kind of where we're at. Maybe that pendulum has swung a little too far over.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has swung a little bit too far because we aren't seeing any adjustments now. You aren't going through and seeing a lot of these teams.
Because I mean, if you remember a couple of years ago, like you said, we'd get a team and you'd panic farm and you'd get your thing and you'd be able to use them for a month at the most before it was replaced with something else. The next big thing came out, and nope, you never felt like you were getting some use out of all your investments. They would just sit on the shelf.
Yeah, at that point, I think the meta was shifting. I don't think it would be going back to that. I don't think it would seem like it's too quick, because in those days, basically the only place you use those characters was in arena, or hopefully they also had a place in a raid team, but that's the only place you use them. Right. Now, if that meta shift kept happening like that, you would still get your investment out of it because you had Grand Arena still there, you have Territory Wars still there. So having that rotation, you still get, like what you're saying, the places you can actually use the characters again.
Right, yeah, and that is a point that I think a lot of people overlook now, because focus is still in arena, and I think always will be because that's where your crystal payout is. But yeah, there's a lot of game modes that you do use characters in now. Could we use another game mode or two? Absolutely. But is there places to use characters now? Yeah.
Yeah, and which like I said, that's why I was gearing up clones. That's why I was gearing up a Padme team to try to create counters for Grand Arena. And I do agree. I mean, I like the shift. I like being able to go through gear up teams, knowing our defense. I just wish Grand Arena would vary it up a little bit, having the 3v3 and some other game modes so it's not the same thing every time for a month. All right.
Yeah, now here's some of the rumors I saw, and it's pretty funny. I think you could screenshot any Discord conversation, and people are going to post it and think it's the truth. So this one here is
you forgot. You have to tag at everyone, and then
yes.
screenshot it.
Breaking news at everyone at here. Clone up Kit Fisto right now.
That's
Everybody,
right.
do it.
Include some spelling errors also.
Yes, the more the better. So anyway, the first rumor we got is General Anakin is going to be a 501st and Galactic Republic leader. I mentioned it's not going to shift the meta. Event will be a 2-stage battle where you get to 7-star unlocked tier. First stage is 5 through 6-star. First stage requires Galactic Republic Jedi fighting in an arena in Geonosis. Then a cutscene, the clones arrive, then you face off with Dooku. So, I don't know. Sounds reasonable.
Well, kind of to go along with that rumor, wasn't it a 20k power?
That wasn't this one. That was a different screenshot I saw. That was the other thing that came out, that you're going to require your, quote, Jedi Council Jedi to be at 20k.
And also go through, make sure you include some Jedi that weren't on the Jedi Council into the rumor.
Right. Yeah, so that was coming out. To me, this seems like there's a lot of like potential courses of action that may be being tested and discussed, and the stuff's coming out there. Is something coming? I think so. There's just too much smoke to not be something coming.
I think this is all, the natives are restless. They're bored. There's no information coming out about anything, and they're just trying to go through and see how quick they can make a rumor spread. Are there some hints of truth in there? No. Is it likely that something like this will happen? Well, yes, because they told us they're working on Lightside GOTB. They went through and hinted at a new puzzle coming out and some other stuff, so you kind of can draw conclusions on what that's going to be. And now everybody's like, well, we're in Clone Wars era, so that leaves Jedi or clones as for the legendary event. So you kind of narrow that down. Then you can kind of narrow down what the characters that are missing, and people are just kind of plug and playing pieces together from what CG has said, what's in the game currently, and what has happened previously. I don't think they've actually heard anything or saw any leaks or anything like that. I just think they're putting pieces together and hoping it sticks and say, hey, I got it right.
That could be possible too. So yeah, the other one I think you mentioned, we're supposed to have Jedi Council up to 20k power. There's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah, like I was watching one of the videos and they were saying like in order to get Plo Koon up to 20k power, you pretty much have to get to Gear 13 and possibly even a couple relic levels. So that doesn't seem likely at all.
Yeah, it's... So then another rumor that came out was that we would get Ki-Adi-Mundi first as a arduous event, and then Anakin as a Malak-style event later, requiring Jedi Council again, and Geonosians, which that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean the only thing about these rumors that would have me excited, because it definitely seems like they're trying to, and I think the way the game's laid out, it's going to be more of a gear requirement for a lot of these legendary or arduous events now, more than actually a star level cap for new characters. is that if this does happen, it's going to be reworked for Jedi. It's going to be a rework for Mace, maybe an actually good rework for Mace this time, and some other Jedi actually becoming relevant and useful to gear up. That's the only thing I would be excited for. I don't know if I would have enough gear or be able to go through and actually get these the way the rumors and I think the way CG is leaning towards having gear caps and power caps for these new events. I don't know if I could get a full team up there unless I kind of stumble into having some of these characters geared up, which I doubt because, like we talked about, we go through and try to go not so much lean, but go through and focus on teams that have been needed within the past for these Grand Arena. And I think they're going to try to lean away from those well-used characters and go into the lesser-used characters and the lesser-geared characters that are going to make it very difficult to gear up that quick in time for the events.
Yeah, like I said, we've seen it happen with the Geonosians, with the Night Sisters, with the Separatist droids, garbage teams that have got to rework and are now top tier. 2 years ago, if you said, "Hey, you're going to have a Gear 13."
Old Daka.
Geonosian.
No, Gear 13 old Daka. Oh, man. You're crazy.
Yeah, I just said you're on drugs. Right.
Yeah.
So this time next year, we're talking about, man, I got my Kit Fisto up to Gear 13.
This time next year, we might
sounds crazy now.
We might be talking about Tuskens. I got my
Tuskens are always going to be garbage. but yeah, I do see them giving the Jedi Council, that's redundant, a rework. And making them useful because again, nobody has them geared up, so that's a way to make them a resource hog, is make them required for light side GOTB or some event. Give them a good rework, and there you go.
Yeah, that would be more my excitement and anticipation on having those characters reworked, and I can plug them in as another counter, and not expecting to be able to unlock these new characters with the way they're going. But who knows? That might actually go through and the requirements may not be as bad as we think they are for long-term players, but I'm not counting on it.
Yeah. Now, I'm not gearing any particular character for an event right now, but I am saving some Zetas and going to save some gear just in case. And if it doesn't pan out, I will have it for whatever the next character is, or prepare for light side GOTB. If it does turn out to be true, I'll have a little bit for that panic farm to get Eve Koth up to wherever the hell he needs to be.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of a shift and what a possible may lead to, the change to advantage is being done. Yay, nay. I mean, I kind of see basically they just changed it so you kind of always hit no matter what, whether it's foresight, you don't lose advantage, you're always going to crit. And we were talking before the show on what characters actually use advantage that this may affect. And Jedi Knight Anakin does. We figured maybe that's for light side GOTB, just to kind of... we saw how overpowered the tuning is right now for it. For dark side, that it might be that, and if they have foresight, Jedi Anakin not hitting might be an issue. Or is it prep in anticipation for new character releases for First Order and Resistance for the new movie, and they're laying the groundwork and setting the bases up for new characters and a new meta shift?
Yeah, I think that's more likely to change. Works differently depending on the circumstance. Sometimes when you can't crit, advantage is consumed, you don't get any value out of it. And sometimes with crit immunity, advantage is not consumed. So here's how it currently works. If you have advantage and your opponent has crit hit immunity, advantage will not be consumed. If you have advantage and your opponent has foresight, advantage will be consumed. If you have advantage and your opponent has crit hit immunity and foresight, advantages will be consumed in the attack. So to address this erratic behavior, we are changing advantage to no longer be consumed when the attack is dodged in the next content release. This means advantage will not be consumed unless you actually land a critical hit. but advantage can be dispelled. Just make sure you do get your crits out of advantage. So yeah, first order deals a lot with advantage. Resistance has some advantage as well, I believe. They tend to be kind of an important faction for the new movies. So that's I think you're onto something with your assessment of this.
Yeah, I think it's just they're laying the groundwork eventually for that, and like you said in there, in the next content update, they're putting that in. The next content update would be Lightside GOTB, so I think it kind of ties in with both of them.
Yep. Okay, well, we do think that it's coming up either in October as a bonus event or in November. But we've got an interesting login character for October. Poggle the Loggle character.
Oh man, amazing. Yeah, I guess it's just for GOTB. I would assume it's going to be for the light side and in there because you will be going up against Geonosians and battling them within the map.
I'm thinking about it. Could be because you need the Geonosians in that second tier of the Anakin event. Duh.
Well, obviously, Avi. It's not like anybody's gearing up Geonosians right now. God, why would they be doing that?
Yeah.
Oh man, people.
So this could be a rare instance where they're just giving a character that people need.
Yeah, maybe, probably not.
Well, if we're not sure, you have a chance to ask them. They have a Q&A coming up October 2nd.
Yeah, I can see.
This is confusing.
Yeah, because they just did one of these, and guess what has happened in the game since then? Nothing.
Big old bunch of nothing.
Yeah, so the questions are going to be, why don't you answer the questions we asked last time, and why haven't you done anything?
Yes, I'm hoping this means we get just a big old road ahead or a state of the galaxy or whatever they want to call it on the first to give us something to kind of chew on and ask about.
Yeah, hopefully early this week we go through and get a little update on what they've been working on the last month and ask questions in anticipation of the new content coming up here in the middle of the month, hopefully.
Yeah, so this is going to be on a Wednesday. They do this on the 2nd. So we got a Monday and a Tuesday that they could put something out.
And then get questions for. So maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, let's
go through. I went through and put this because we went through and talked about relics last time we recorded. We've had a little bit with relics, and just kind of wanted your impression of what you're seeing as the top characters to take to relic level 7. I'm going to say all the way up, because obviously if they go all the way up and they're really good, taking any of them up with relic levels is going to be good.
Yeah, relics are good. I don't have any characters at 7 yet. The highest I have is 5.
Who's that?
But that is I should know this. Bruce,
all right.
Yeah,
man, Bruce.
Because it's like 2 for the price of 1. That's why I'm kind of going with him.
Yeah. Any other characters you're seeing that are very difficult or very good at top relic levels?
Personally, no. I'm not seeing many outside of just kind of the arena meta. And my mod speed isn't enough to compete there. So I see a Gear 7 Malik, hey, he beats me at Gear 2. It doesn't matter because my mods aren't fast enough.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, too, I'm seeing. We are seeing more Padme teams come in, the Nuke team, Grievous. I'm seeing a little more success with that, just moving up the ranks. So the relics are making more teams viable in Arena.
Yeah, I'm seeing that also, and basically what's making them viable is because it is so hard to kill Darth Revan and Darth Malik that these top relic characters that you're saying you're starting to see the difference is Padme team, General Grievous team. Top relic characters seem to be General Grievous, Jedi Knight Anakin. Believe it or not, Raid Han. If it's an attacker, they make a big difference at relic level 7.
Yeah, Sith Marauder's even on the team, and he's above Bruce.
Yeah,
kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, it is not. I went up against a relic level 7 Sith Marauder, and he got an attack and did his dual lightsaber throw, and I was like, and there goes Basilisk Sean. Okay, well that is a big hit. They are very good. To me, that seems to be right now what everybody's focusing on. Going after those top relic characters are all attackers. They go through and start putting out massive damage. There are some exceptions, like Bruce, obviously, just because, like you said, 2 for the price of 1. Darth Revan. Trying to think of other exceptions. I would actually put Bosk up there because of the Houndstooth and just being tanky in general. That his relic level 7 would help him out and the bounty hunters out immensely. Attacker wise would be Asajj. Non-attacker wise would be Daka. With her health and everything getting just ramped up, seriously, she makes a big difference on higher relic levels and seems to be doing good both in Grand Arena and raids. So, I mean, at least that's what I'm seeing right now. I'm sure there's a few other, obviously Padme would be a good one to bump up the relic levels for. But
yeah, R2 is a good one.
Yes, because of number crunch. The higher you put up his stats, the higher the whole team will be.
No, I'm looking on SWGOH, and they do have character data for relics. Thanks Slash to point that out to us. Looking down at 7 is level 7. We have a Tusken Shaman, a Tusken Raider, a Magma Trooper. Yeah, man, that's only 1 Greedo. That's kind of crazy because he is an attacker.
You know, people just didn't get that far yet.
I guess, but there's some interesting ones here that don't have anybody. Let's see. Nobody did Ugnaught. Usually there's one that's just going to do it just to watch the world burn.
For the shits and giggles.
Yeah, Baze and there's no Relic 7 Baze or Chase.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of surprising, yeah. Anyway, that's maybe a little interesting data to gank out of there.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get on to some questions. I mean, a lot of these were more things that I was figured I would ask. So, with the slowdown of the content in the game, do you think CG understated on how much of their resources they've been allocating to the new game they're developing?
I think it's some of that. I think it is mostly, or it could be a little bit of a change of management as well. They get a new director, and it should be some shuffling, based on their vision of the game.
Well, speaking of that, I could add this to the question here. Do you think this is why Carrie left? Because of the redirection of resources in which she couldn't implement her plan fully the way she wanted to. So she decided to leave because basically she was just sitting there without the resources to be able to manage the game properly like she thought.
It's possible. I don't want to assign motives to somebody, which I don't know the full situation. It's possible, I guess.
Yeah, it just goes through. It's like the further down you get along, or further away you get from someone leaving an important position like that, a lot of times you see some of the stuff either comes out, or you can kind of see the direction in which it started to take, in which the person might have left because of that. And I think we're kind of seeing that as far as how slow the game is and what they're actually building out and doing. It does seem like I don't understand how you go through and say, oh yeah, we aren't redirecting very much of our resources into the new game. We've just hired on extra people for that. Yet we got what, 3 to 4 characters every month last year, and this year we have what, just a handful of characters all year. And you're saying, oh yeah, it's the same resources. We haven't changed anything.
I think this is more of a timing issue. I mean, Rise of Skywalker is going to be the focus of this game for the next year once it comes out. With Mandalorian and some other stuff too, but we should see a pretty big influx of new players coming into the game. They have mentioned they're working on how to onboard those players and get them invested in the game. And I think that's going to be a major decision point of how many of those players actually stick around, how many become pay to play, how many go free to play. And that kind of new player base and new player population is going to drive kind of how the game moves forward. Is it going to try to stay relevant and keep new players engaged, or are those new players going to bounce off of it and they have to just keep catering to the in-game players?
Well, kind of speaking on that, so I could definitely see that, but that seems more of like a management implementation in which you're discovering and trying to implement new ideas to go through and alleviate the gear crunch or the star crunch, something to be able to do onboarding new players. And it just seems like there's a lot of people down the line, like the art team and other people that were modeling characters, doing character animations, coming up with game balancing and everything of new characters, seemed like they would be sitting there going, da 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 da, I don't got anything to do. And they're like, hey, well, you can work on the new game. And then they go through, hey, we want to do this. Well, I'm working on the new game now. But I definitely agree. They might have slowed everything down because they wanted to focus on trying to figure out basically on how to rebalance the game for new players and returning players. Mm-hmm. And it just worked out timing wise that they can work on getting the new game out and then kind of split up the team from there.
Yeah, and it's really becoming more of a challenge to fit new characters into the game without building this massive new mechanics. Then you just have to rely on power creep, and nobody likes that.
Well, which they kind of rebalanced everything between Gear 13 and now the Relic system. That definitely seemed like part of it. That seemed like the very big part of it, in which it kind of goes into my next question and point was, like, for challenges, a lot of the challenges say, oh, get this character to Gear 12. Would you be worried about any of those characters or teams that taking them to Gear 12, or should you be focusing on taking characters that are currently Gear 12 to Gear 13 in anticipation that the gear crunch, it will be getting easier to take characters to Gear 12?
Okay, let me make sure I'm understanding you. Should we try to get characters to Gear 12 to make...
should we be focusing right now on taking characters from Gear 12 to Gear 13 over taking characters up to Gear 12 right now?
Oh, gotcha.
With the anticipation that that gear level isn't as important right now because of the relic system, and they're going to make that gear easier to get.
Yeah, I think they are going to make Gear 12 easier to get. They've already started to differentiate that. So yeah, I think if you have a character that you're using in arena or raid or what have you, take them to Gear 13. That's the new goalpost.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too. It's like I'm taking these teams up to Gear 12 right now, like the clones, the Padme team, mainly so I have the counters. But after that, I would like to go through and finish out like getting Django, Embo, and finishing out the challenges for like the bounty hunters, Fulcrum, and characters like that. But I honestly think I'm just going to go through and start focusing on taking like Bruce to Gear 13 after I have those teams build up. Who else? Padme to Gear 13, Jedi Knight Anakin to Gear 13, over anything else and not focus on it, because as soon as I have my teams laid out for Grand Arena up to Gear 12, I'm just going to leave them there. I don't need any extra teams. I don't need to go through and do that. And I think the gear is going to be easier at some point. And then I can go back and start working on characters, taking them up to Gear 12 and finishing out those teams like that.
Yeah, and I think folks that will be needed for the Geonosian territory battles. Gear them up. That is not going anywhere anytime soon, and you're going to need that get to currency for whatever the new hotness is.
Which I'm sure it'll be something as soon as this new territory battle drops.
Right. That kind of leads us into some listener questions. Let's see. Yeah, Mil Muerte's asking the dev Q&A. They said they're working on a Malik event. Is it crazy to believe they won't use the new guild event currency to bring them to 7 stars, since he will have a negotiator and probably malevolence there? No, it's not crazy at all to believe.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would go through and be against that is that it seems like the new currency is going to be mainly new capital ships over characters. So that would be, I would lean against that. I don't think it's going to be needed.
I don't think they're going to bring out a new character that uses original guild event currency.
Oh, no, definitely not. Yeah, use that gear. Buy that gear up if you have Wampa and Hoda at 7 stars. Buy that gear.
How you feel about guild event currency 3?
Let's not talk about that.
Gottman asks, what's an underrated tune to take to R7? Could fit on a current good squad, but not a lot of people have done. I think I'll probably get hate mail for this, but Haldo is a really good resistance tank. She gets a lot of boost with the relics, and resistance is going to be an important team.
Well, we went through and mentioned this beforehand when we were talking about Relic 7, R2-D2.
Yeah.
Fits right now in a Padme team, will fit into a resistance team also when that whenever it comes out for Rise of Skywalker, because R2 has so many tags. He will be a very good one, and I think it's an underrated one because everybody's going after, like I said, the attackers right now for those big damage scores.
Yeah, and eventually Rebel Meta will... Did I say Rebel Metal? That'd be
you
pretty
said
sweet.
Rebel Metal, man.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Rock out with your music fest.
Yeah, Jedi Luke will be a thing eventually, and that will bring Rebel stuff back.
And R2-D2 has that tag too, so...
He does, indeed. All right, R3S6 was innocent, asked, is Dooku or Bear... Oh, that was just the answer for him. Oh, no, he was doing my job for me. He said Dooku or Barris is an underrated character. Fox looks completely nuts. So thanks for the help. Thanks for the assist there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Barris fits into that, but yeah, Dooku and Fox, yes, I can see.
Yeah. Hell, that does it for listener Q&A.
All right.
If you have a question you'd like to get answered on the show, head on over to our Discord, hop in the show Q&A channel, and pop your question. We'll answer it on the show, or if it's not suitable for the show, we'll answer it there. You can also email us. Lots of ways to get in touch with us.
Yeah, so let's start wrapping everything up. I mean, we're still in anticipation for the Vulture Droid to come out, free to play. Hopefully here by the end of the month.
Yeah, looking toward around October 26th. It's going to be an interesting one, too, with Vulture not having a pilot. Since relics do impact ships, how is that going to stay relevant?
That would also go through and be a nice timing if they came out with a, say, Malevolence with the light side GOTB.
Yeah,
26, true. Immediately going free to play right around when that territory battle map appears and appears in the store. So it lines up very nicely there.
Yeah, it looks like the rest of our Oh, I'm not even there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, so that's the only thing on the marquee watch. Maybe in the next week or so we'll get something to add, but that's the only one we're watching.
Yeah. And then, what are you bumping and grinding on?
I'm grinding all up on Shock T right now.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And some clones, too, if I'm feeling extra frisky.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, working on the clones. Not gearing up Shock T right now, but definitely working on Snips, Fives, and Echo as my kind of 3 works, because Snips take gold eyeballs galore, and believe it or not, I don't need any characters that need Carbantes for Snips, so I'm like, well, I can start working on my clones then. And still I'm just slowly going after these ships, Emperor Shuttle, Sith Bomber, just plugging away at them. Relic gear, obviously, and Shock T slowly. I'm not really in any rush to get there.
Yeah, I used Shock T a little bit in the last raid on Phase 4 because I forgot about the raid and wasn't able to get into it. So I'd like to use them in Phase 2.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah, grinding Chirotechs, Relic Energy, real exciting stuff. Start buying some more Negotiator shards.
Yeah, not a whole lot as far as grinding characters or anything, but let's get out there. I mean, you can go through for the less of the price of, what was it? Actually, probably Jedi Fallen Order. You can buy a new pack in the game.
Yeah, you can buy a little pack now for $8.
Yeah, I mean, that is a steal in Galaxy of Heroes.
Deal.
You can get 10 whole pieces of a gold eyeball and 10 pieces of our Carbonti and 10 pieces of a stun gun. You might be able to craft nothing out of that pack.
All right. Well, you get some energy too. Yeah.
Yes, you do get some energy.
On the tables.
You'd think for $8 you would at least get a fully crafted gear. Make it worth it.
Oh, that's crazy talk.
Yeah, that is crazy talk. Well, speaking of crazy talk, let's get on out of here.
Yeah, y'all know the deal. Leave us a review. More importantly than that, join our Discord. We like talking with you guys.
Yeah.
Shape the show, especially now that it's kind of so slow on the news front. You know, we want to make a show that you guys want to listen to. And I know just hearing us talk about cats and what we're grinding, that ain't too fun. So let us know what you want to hear. You know, what's something you've been grinding you're proud of? Are you working on a team that nobody else is doing? Or you got your Rose up to Gear 13? Let us know, man. We'll give you a shout out on the show. This is a community show. It's not just about us. So we do want to hear from you.
So yeah, let's forget all about everything like that. Everybody just join the Discord. Yeah. I'll go through and we'll create a new channel and everything for show ideas. Let me talk. Because right now, especially with the game being that slow, it's very difficult to try to come up with ideas to go through and have a show every week when there's no news or no events going on within the game. So having ideas gives us something to talk about, and we can go from there.
Yeah, we since the inception of the show, and just kind of give you some background, we have tried to focus more on how to prepare for what's coming up. I mean, we do some theory crafting, but we don't typically get too in the details on the numbers and all that, just because I don't think it translates well to radio. But hey, if that's something you guys want more of, let us know. We'll do our homework. We'll get our slide rules out and figure it out for you.
We'll get some abacus noises going through, because that is not our forte, really. Preparing for something, yes. Theory crafting, not so much. But we will get some slide scales and abacuses out and do our best if that's what you guys want to hear.
Yeah, we'll learn him. Make us win a few more Grand Arena rounds. Who knows? It might work out for us.
That's right. So
anyway, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right, guys. So until next time, later.
As you are exiting the cantina, we would like to say thanks for stopping by, and we hope to see you out on the hollow table soon.